Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's another blessed day. And we have a wonderful guest. I'm your host, Michael Kimadi of If You Want MK. And I'm hosting Impact Masters in collaboration with Africa's Talking, bringing you the African story that matter. And today, it's a beautiful day. We have one awesome guest from the west side of Africa, and by the name, she's a lady that I have known for some time right now, and she's done amazing stuff that I want, and I feel like she is an impact master. She has written code, she has run the community, still does. She's a country manager, among as many other things that I know about her. But without further ado, welcome Mariam Nourya Koné at Impact Masters show. How are you, Mariam?
I am fine.
You're fine. It's good to have you. You look fine, though.
You too.
Yeah. So it's good to have you, Mariam. And Mariam, at this show, actually, we're trying to feature, African impact masters and tell our own authentic stories, because for the longest, the African stories have been told by third parties. And most of the times when, they are broken down to 1.5 minutes, and it's basically what favors the agenda. So we're trying to change that narrative and create our own stories that, say, 100 years, 50 years from now. If you listen to these kind of conversations, you can learn one or two things. If you see a billion-dollar company, if you see an impactful company, you know the journey that actually resulted to that. And that's why we're here today. But before we tell an African story, as you know, we really want to know, who is Mariam? Where was she born? How did she become this awesome?
Well, my full name first is Mariam Nourya Koné. I was born in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan.
Yeah.
And I was raised in Dakar, Senegal. That's still West Africa.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. I studied there, school, primary school, high school.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So primary school, middle school, high school. And then when I finished high school, I felt like I've actually never lived in my country. And I decided, okay, I want to go there and study computer science. I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, yeah?
Or a computer scientist.
Yeah, I told you she's smart. So, Mariam, before you go doing doctorate, medicine doctor, right?
Yes. Neuropsychologist.
What?
Neurosurgeon, sorry.
Neurosurgeon.
Yes. Brain.
Okay. That's different level.
Yes.
So, how was your primary school, middle level? How was that experience for you? Because also, again, we are taught of, some of our childhood, our friends, our experiences, our upbringing, and even when any innovator, any impact master already existing, if you really want to know why they do what they do and how they think, you have to understand who they have been even before they were recognized. So how was that like for you? Or how is it to study in Senegal in primary school or nursery school? I don't know where you start in Senegal.
So in Senegal, so I grew up there. That's from 0 years old to 18 years old.
Okay.
And I only went to private Catholic school.
Yeah.
And it was in a very, I would like to say, international environment, in the sense that...
Was it an international school?
No, it was a local school that also had international content.
Okay.
We had, I think, more than 52 nationalities represented in the school.
Oh,
so
awesome.
It was a very diverse environment where you would see any kind of people. So for me, that was like, it's normal, And I loved reading. I would spend my lunch breaks at school's library.
Yeah.
Because I would get bored when kids would be jumping in the sand and sweating weirdly. I was a very active kid as well.
Yeah.
I used to fight a lot. I used to fight boys.
Yeah.
But aside from that, because I would just not take intimidation, I was like, no, you cannot intimidate me because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I was just spending my time reading and watching mangas and all the classic mangas we've all watched, like Dragon Ball Z and all those things.
Those are cartoons or?
Those are mangas, like the animated version of the mangas.
Okay.
You've probably heard of Sensei. Yeah, no, yes. All those Japanese animation that we used to watch as kids.
Yeah.
And even now, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
But yes, that was how I would entertain myself and playing games. And I used to also practice martial arts. I've been practicing that since a kid.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how was my primary school. I did have, because since I was an Ivorian in Senegalese country, sometimes people will try to harass me because I was not a local.
That's why you studied martial arts?
No, my dad was like, everyone is going there. My sister, everyone, we all went through that.
Yeah.
But it was really fun, really cool.
So right now, no one can harass you, can deal with them.
Harassers are still going to harass, no matter how you look or what you can do.
Yeah. But you see, if you have these techniques, you have these, moves, sometimes you can defend yourself or, disable. Is it disable or do it? Like, I don't know. You can defend yourself and even beat someone in case it gets to that point.
Well, I'd rather it does not get there because I'm not a big fan of violence.
Yeah.
But yes, I will defend myself. I will. I do not like to initiate fights as well. When I was a kid, I used to fight a lot.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Okay.
Like, don't push me. You try. Okay, let's do it. You know? But martial arts, I think, helped me become centered. Like, you don't have to because now you know that you can control the power that you have.
Yeah.
You can actually protect yourself. You know what type of harm you can do. And at that point, you're like, no, I do not want to go there. Let's discuss it.
So you know how powerful you are when it comes to that, and you don't want to use that. That's beautiful. And maybe we'll get to know why. So how many years do you do in Senegal, like for the primary school? Is it primary?
Yeah, primary school, middle school, high school, everything. Even, the very first time you go to school, I went to school there.
So, yeah, it's primary school. We're in Kenya, by the way, guys, in case you're wondering where I'm calling here. And then secondary school and then university. So there is no middle school and all these things. But the curriculum is changing to curriculum-based learning. So that might change, I don't know. Because even the years that you spend in the primary school have changed. I think because there's some kindergarten in between before you get to primary school. But that's just changed like 4 years ago. So you spend how many years in primary school?
Well, first there was kindergarten.
Okay.
And then primary school, you had like what? Sorry, I'm counting.
No
literally.
worries. Yeah.
Like, I would say 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
In kindergarten?
That's primary school. Kindergarten is 3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
Yes.
Of that, it's primary school and 3 years. No, and 3 years kindergarten. Right?
Yes, 3 years kindergarten and then 6 years primary school. And then middle school, you have like 4.
Wait a minute.
4 years.
Is that French?
Yes.
So you guys started in French?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting. We'll get to all these French, English, where that came in. So middle school, you said how many years?
6 years.
6 years. And that's when you get to the national examination.
Yes.
Okay. And that now qualifies you to go to?
Middle school.
Middle school.
And,
which is more or less like secondary school.
Kind of.
How many years there?
4 years and another exam.
Oh, okay. Like national exam.
Yes.
So let me ask you.
And then 3 years again.
Okay.
And then another exam.
Okay. 3 years now, that's like university,
like
college, and all that.
After the 3 years, then it's university.
How many years before? Like there's 6, there's 4.
Yes.
That's 10. And then there's 3 years.
Yes.
13. And then university, how many years?
And then university depends on what you want to study.
All right. So you finish your primary school. How did you perform?
I performed average, and even a little bit less.
Why?
I was not focused at
Oh,
all.
okay. You love to play? What?
Yes, I was not focused. I was very distracted. I would even read books in classes that had nothing to do. Yes.
But I think if you read books, you should have aced it.
I mean, fun books. I was reading to have fun. I was not reading to learn. I was reading exciting books, adventure books, supernatural, anything but math and what the things I was supposed to actually read.
Do you love sciences at that level or just?
No, at that time, no. I was not very interested in that. I wanted to become a witch.
A witch?
Based on the books I was reading.
Oh, the comic and all that.
The imaginary, I was looking for my powers, and I was like, oh, when am I going to receive my letter to go to Hogwarts,
And the magic word.
Yes.
So at this point, you're like, you're just being a child anyway. So, and then you join high school. So when people graduate there, are they called like by the government? How is that process of transitioning from middle school to... Is it middle school? I think primary school to middle school.
Yes. So you have to have, first you need to have the proper grades in that last year of primary school. And then you need to have a good mark, a certain mark, at least on the exam. And then you go, they can basically reorient you to another school or to the same school, or you can just choose, your parents can just choose, okay, she succeeded at her exam, then she's going there. And then you just start normally.
And the avenue is that you either called out to go to this middle school, or maybe your parent takes you to the private school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for you, which path did you take after that?
I kept going to a private school because I was not a Senegal national.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is no opportunity for you there
Yes.
to go to this school.
Yes.
All right, I see. And here, by the way, is this something that I ask most of my guests? I don't know if it's the same thing in Senegal. Do people get monolized, like, being bullied and, being welcome? There's a certain welcome that people receive when they join high schools here. Is it the same there? Or?
Well, there was no particular bullying. I was bullied in primary school.
Oh, okay.
But not in high school.
Not in high school.
Yes, no.
So why? Because you are a foreigner. That's why you are bullying in primary school.
Mainly, I think kids first they duplicate what adults do, and I remember I used to have a teacher who I felt despised me. Maybe as a kid it was something else, but I really did feel that he did not like me. He put a lot of pressure on me, targeting me even when I was not even doing anything. So there was that, and then when kids realize that, oh, even the teacher
is a target,
doesn't like you, then they start pushing you around, messing with you.
That is sad.
So I was a rebel in primary school. I was like, no.
That's why you fought.
I was a nerd in primary school.
Oh, okay.
At some point, I was like, let me just distance myself from that.
Yeah.
I would be on my thing, but then if you came for me, we would fight.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense now why you're fighting other people, and most probably maybe you're defending yourself. So you joined high school. Did you get serious? How was it there? Was it smooth?
My first year of high school kind of went well. I started actually being really interested into English because my English teacher was actually, I think he was pastor or priest. How do you say it? We call it father. We call him father.
Priest.
Yes, he was a priest. Really kind, really nice. So I, for me, if I like the person and it kind of seems interesting, I started learning, and I became the best. I was like, I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's when I actually started liking maths as well and natural sciences and things like that. But then I was not very motivated to get good grades, so I would just do what I had to do to move on to the next. Yes.
Why? Were you still cheeky and involved in activities?
Yes, and still a bit bored.
Oh, okay.
I was bored.
Yeah. So
I was not very interested in what I was learning.
But English, you were so interested and invested at the same time.
Yeah, so I actually started being focused and trying to get good results when I was in that last year of middle school. I'm like, I have this exam my grades are bad, and I cannot fail.
Yeah. Why
So-
why we could not afford failing?
Because that was not an option for me. As a kid, failing for me was not an option because
Why?
I hate regret. If you fail after trying, then you know you've tried. But if you haven't even put in the effort, the guilt after that.
But in primary school, you failed. Then was there
No.
a regret?
I never did a class like 2 times.
Oh, okay.
I was going there. I was not the best, but I was,
You're just managing.
I was managing.
But at this point, you say, I don't want to manage anymore. I want to be
No,
at the top.
even then I didn't want to be at the top because I
Okay.
was not even following. I was just like barely getting there. Okay, I have the right grade, bam, next. The right grade, bam, next.
Okay,
I'm like,
interesting stuff. Yeah.
If I keep going on this, I'm probably going to fail this one because I could see because I was not making effort. I was not even studying. I was just having fun reading my books.
Oh, you still reading your comic books?
Reading
Okay.
my books, reading my Harry Potter. That's what I would do. And I'm like, no, I actually need to pass this one, and then I'll see if the classes that I have in high school I actually like, then maybe I'll put in the effort. But yeah, I think I was starting to be getting to be interested in like natural science.
What is
with the
natural science? You have said that twice now.
Yes.
What's that?
We used to call it science of life and earth, literally, if I'm translating.
That's
But,
not biology.
Not only biology.
Okay.
There was a bit about the ground, like kind of geology and all those things. It was a mix of that and also sciences about the body, all those things.
What did you say? Science of body. What's that?
What I mean is that you're studying body parts, you're studying,
Oh,
this is this.
I
I don't know
see,
how
I
you
see.
guys call it in your system.
No. That's biology actually, like
But,
physical
okay.
anatomy, physical, something to do with
Yeah.
anatomy. So here we have 3 sciences, just to break it down so that at least you get why I'm confused.
Yes.
So there's physics, chemistry, and biology. Those are the 3 sciences. So chemistry is the chemical reactions and how they affect anything. So you understand how if you mix chemicals, what happens, and also what triggers actually those reactions.
Yes.
And then with physics, it's more of mechanical, like, there's a pendulum, there's a structure, there's all these things, and the math that are involved in that, the speed and all that kind of stuff. Then biology is the body structure, how the body functions, the plants, whatnot. And then that's where now, especially when you talk about plants, that's when chemistry meets biology.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
So,
then even
it's biology.
in some parts,
Yes.
you find that even how the tree grows, they grow against the gravity and all that. If the leaf, whatever happens, it falls. Why does it fall? The gravity. So you see how they relate as sciences. So it was biology.
Yes, we had physics, we have chemistry, and we had biology. But at that point, we were not studying chemistry
Separately.
or physics. We started that in high school. We were only doing biology.
Okay, I see. And all this is done in French,
Yes.
besides the English lesson.
Yes.
Okay. How was it like now that you know English and you have been doing this in French? Do you think doing things in English is easier or French?
It depends. I guess if you've learned French first, it's easier for you to be doing these things in English
Yeah.
because you have, I feel, a lot more rules in French. You have masculine, feminine, a lot of those things that you don't have. It's easier to go from French to English than it is to go from English to French.
Oh, I see. So you do your high school, you pass, right? And then you go to
High school.
high school. So high school, that's why now you like choose what you do in Senegal. Or how does it work?
Yes, now you have to pick between sciences and literature, kind of. So I went for sciences
Why?
because I wanted to be challenged. I liked mathematics, but I wanted to be challenged. I didn't see myself, because you would still do literature,
Yeah.
but you also do science and maths and physics, chemistry,
Yeah.
which is very light when you're doing that literature kind of
Yeah.
program. So it's different.
So it was more science now onwards.
Yes, it was. I would say it was balanced.
Okay.
A good amount of science, a good amount of literature, language, Yes, it was balanced.
Yeah. So in high school, were you welcomed, or are they cool?
Well, it was fine. My first year of high school, I was actually on vacation in my home country. I was in Abidjan, and then I came 1 week late. And the very first test we had was, I think it was a physics and chemistry test. And I've never studied chemistry or physics. I had 3 out of 20. I remember that.
How did that make you feel?
I was like, this is starting.
I need to be
really
serious.
well. Yeah, I need to yes. Yes.
And was there like someone who had 19 out of 20,
Yes.
20 out of 20?
Yes, there was a girl like that.
Was it a girls' school?
No,
Okay, mixed school.
mixed school. But girls were usually the first in the classes most of the time.
Top of the class.
Top of the class.
Okay, that's very interesting. Why? Why? Because you say that categorically that girls, you're always fast. Why? Why do you think so?
Well, it was a fact. We could see it. We could see it. I feel it's because women girls at least understand very early that they need to do 2 times, 3 times more than men to be recognized, acknowledged, or respected. So from very early age, you know that I need to be really good at that, or I will be dismissed.
Yeah. That's very interesting aspect you brought, and I think we'll get to what you're doing for other girls, for other women, and all that. But at this point, now things are starting to form, and I like how this is going. And even right now, I think there's this STEM movement with every company, including Africa's Talking, that you find there is more attention to girls. There is more intentional drive to like reach out to girls. There are even a couple of events that are shaped for girls, like girls in tech workshops, girls in tech hackathon, and all that. Are you saying if girls realize this early on, some of these initiatives might not be that necessary? They could compete in a flat field, or do you think this is still necessary?
Well, I think it is still necessary, even if we bring that to that level, because there's definitely a bias that is there. There is that idea that if you are a woman, you cannot do those technical jobs or have a technical career because, well, either women are not smart enough or they don't have, the strength to actually pull through, or they are meant to get married and they're meant to raise children, so they should not be there, And you know that as a software engineer, software developer, sometimes you are required to be doing extra hours, working at nights. So there is that stigma that, if you're a woman, this is not for you. So go do marketing and commercials.
So let me ask you, Mariam. I think from the African perspective, that was basically out of love. That already, being a wife, being a mom, is a lot of work, to be honest.
It is.
More than any science I know, because
it is.
I
agree.
I think, and you guys are, no offense, you are shaped for that. You are made for that. You are created for that. Instinct-wise and any other definition.
Let me not go that way, because not every woman wants to have kids. Not every woman who has kids has that internal, how do you say the word that you used? Maternal instincts. Not all women have that. And I think the point is we should be letting women make choices for themselves. Choose. I want to be this. I want to be this. If she wants to be a mother and be an engineer, it's possible. If she wants to be a mother solely, it's possible, and it is respectable and it is honorable. If she wants to be an engineer, then it is also honorable.
If she wants to be in commercial.
If she wants to be in commercial, it is because we I feel like the society is trying to put women in a specific box where just like men come with different, different, I would say, skills. Like you take the next person, the next man you meet, you don't have the same set of skills. You don't have the same weaknesses. Like you are really good at what you're doing, but he might be really bad at what you're doing. And he might enjoy other things, manual work.
I have no dispute with that actually. Is that I feel like, also there is too much pressure for girls to be engineers.
I don't think there is pressure for that. I think what is trying to happen here is trying to show girls and women that this is also an option. Not putting pressure, but this is an option. This is actually okay. Let me tell you something. When I was doing my bachelor in computer science and engineering, you know how people would call us, the girls in the room? We were like 6 out of 40 people.
Yeah.
You are boys with hairs.
Okay.
Boys with hairs. People would actually tell me,
that's not
do you
cool.
even have
That's not
hair
cool,
under that hijab you're wearing?
Yeah. And by the way, I meant to ask, you said you studied in all Catholic school, but you're Muslim.
Yes.
So there was no, you need to be in another school.
No, I only went to Catholic. So what happens is you have really good Catholic schools in Senegal. That's a fact.
Yeah.
They have really good teachings and everything. But you still have, I don't want to give a number, but back in the time, I think it was approximately more than 90% of the school children were Muslim. So there were like Catholic classes, and then during Catholic classes, Muslims and non-Catholic kids had another thing that we called moral, where a teacher would come and talk to us about values and different things, So it was never, we were never pressed into or forced, into another belief. I think that is one thing that I liked. We had those ecumenical prayers that we would have. They would bring like a priest or an évêque, an imam or a sheikh and a rabbi, and then all of the students, we will do one prayer that is universal, and we would do that even every Monday before starting classes. So for us, it was, you're sitting next to a Catholic, we're sitting next to a Christian, you're sitting next to a Muslim, it's the same for us. We just had love for each other.
Amazing stuff. And does that help you to like even focus on important things? Like if you want to focus maybe on science, and just walk to anyone, regardless of the religion or background, and say, you know what, I can't figure this out, please, show me how do you figure this out and stuff like that.
Yes. It's not a barrier. It's like, no matter what you look like, if you have the info I have, I'm going to go for it.
Oh, nice.
I'll just take you the way you are.
And you're expecting to be taken the way you are.
The way I
nice.
am. Actually, I have not started wearing the hijab until like my last year of high school. So I was not wearing it before.
That's why they said you're boys. Yeah. So why did you like make that switch? Was it a conscious decision? Like, I'm an Islam girl. And, as much as there's no pressure, I want to live like an Islam lady.
Well, I actually started wondering. I started asking myself questions because I would see at the school mothers coming and dropping off their kids, some of them wearing the hijab, some of them not wearing it. And I started wondering. That was late primary school, like late middle school, like the last year of middle school.
Which year was this?
The last year of middle school.
Which year specifically?
Like the year? Ooh, when was that?
Just to give people the idea of the timelines and all that.
Okay. I think the math, probably around in 2009.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 2010, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not very sure, but
that's around that time.
Around that time.
Yeah.
So I started doing a lot of research, because obviously have learned the Quran as a kid. I had a very good teacher. I would know how to read and write in Arabic and read the Quran.
Yeah.
But in terms of understanding all of it, I was really far in terms of the document and everything. So I was like, okay, I actually need to know, because I would ask women around me, and they would all have different answers because they did not know as well. They just had ideas about it. Some would tell you that you wear the hijab when you're coming from the Hajj.
What's Hajj?
The Hajj is the Muslim pilgrimage that we do in Mecca.
The Mecca. Okay.
Yes.
I also studied in more or less 50-50, or I don't know, a Muslim school, and some of the guys in primary school were Muslim. So every other, I don't know which month was that, I just forgot because it's a long time. they used to be excited about this Mecca trip. So they were not going in Mecca, but we used to say, okay, they were going in Mecca, but what they were going to is the Hajj.
Yes. So as a Muslim, if you have the means,
that's why Muhammad
to
is
do
buried,
it.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you actually, it's where we have it's our basically our prayer direction. When we pray, the direction is Mecca.
Oh, you have to face that side.
Yes, it used to be Jerusalem, but it's Mecca now. So yeah,
can you repeat that? It used to be
Jerusalem.
So Jerusalem, where it is right now, is not Jerusalem.
No, our prayer direction used to
be in Jerusalem.
We used to pray towards Jerusalem,
which is the opposite side.
Yes, and it did change at some point.
And thinking of this, Jerusalem is on the south of Mecca, right?
Oh, I do not know the position of Jerusalem compared to Mecca. I was not there at the time.
No, I mean, if you think about it, it's in which country is it in? Is it Oman? Some country on top of Jerusalem.
No idea.
Yeah, I'll figure that out because now I'm like, even the mosque, the way people maybe pray, it's built according to that and all that. I think maybe I need to ask you this now. Any person who lives fully, or any person who is alive, they're made of three things: body, mind, and soul, or body, mind, and spirit. And it sounds like in your high school years is when you started becoming conscious about your spiritual rather than your religion. You are Muslim for a long time, which is religion. And now you're curious, like, why am I Muslim? How should I live like a Muslim? Do you think you're getting more spiritual or you're just abiding to the religion's rules and regulations?
So it was less about, it started like that. It was like, why are some Muslim women wearing the hijab and why are some of them not wearing it? So then I started doing the research and I'm like, okay, this is why we're supposed to wear the hijab. This is actually
the research
mandatory.
Was in the Quran?
Yes, the Quran and the Sunnah, which is basically the sayings and the actions reported of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions and the people, basically the people around him. So that's when I learned it's written in the Quran. We're supposed to wear the hijab. You know, and I'm like, okay, very interesting. Then I keep doing some research and I'm like, okay, then I have Christian friends. I'm in a Catholic school. Why am I not Catholic? Then I start looking into it. Then I start reading the Bible. Then I start, finding the similarities between the Quran and the Bible and all of that. And I'm like, okay, why not? And why am I not Jewish? Okay, let me look at that.
They were Jewish in your class?
No, very rare.
Okay.
We did not have. It was very rare. And at that point, I don't think I had met a Jewish person in middle school. No. Yeah, but I did start doing some research. Like, okay, I'm not Jewish. Then I started comparing, and I'm like, this is interesting. Okay, what is there? Okay, why are Muslims doing this and the others are doing that? Okay, no. Okay, looking into it, and then I was convinced because obviously I was still praying, doing my prayers, but I was like, I have the responsibility to be conscious about what I'm doing, and I need to have my intentions clear. And I think every Muslim at some point gets to that. Because obviously you're born into a Muslim family, but at some point you become conscious and the religion is you are to follow it. It's not your parents that are doing it. You have the free will. And you have to choose. Do you think,
and that's what I was asking, because you're born a Muslim, right? But at some point now you become spiritually conscious. I think that's what you're calling conscious, because now you're like questioning things, trying to find out, am I living right? Is my spirit nourished? Now you do the research. You are more informed. You make conscious decisions that of course they're supported by the way the religion is teaching me, and even confirming with different other religions that there's these similarities, there are these differences, and I think I want to follow this way.
Yes, like this makes more sense to me. I'm going there.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So you start now wearing hijab. No,
that's not when I start wearing the
okay,
hijab.
That's interesting.
I'm still learning, making some research. Living my life.
Yeah, this is now high school. Yeah. Did you go partying?
Well, I went to a nightclub once. My parents were actually very open about me trying and testing things. So I think that's also why I was not rebelling crazily, because I have a lot of energy, and they would not try to constrain me. Okay, you want to do that? Okay, where are you going? When do you want to go there?
Yeah.
Who are you going to go there with? Or
Just
they
to
would
make sure you are safe.
Or they would just go with me, drop me there, know where I am. We would have like parties with my friends, stay until maybe midnight, and then my dad would come and pick me up, or my mom. And so yeah, it was, and that's how I knew that actually these things I don't want, these things I want.
So you could make a conscious decision that I want to do this.
After going to a nightclub the first time, like nah.
You just went the first time, and that's it. You have never to be a nightclub ever.
No, I'm like no.
Interesting stuff. So would you in your later years, or maybe as you grow, go to a nightclub?
Well, I sincerely doubt it.
Yeah.
Yes. The noise, the heat.
That looks like that experience wasn't so good. But
no, it's not that it was not good, but it was actually fun.
Yeah.
To some level, it was fun.
Yeah.
But I just realized that this is not my kind of vibe, and it does not match with my values. Like it is not my idea of fun. Busting my ears with loud noise, people rubbing against each other in the dark, dancing. It was not my time. Like, well.
So the nerdy part of you kicked on.
Yeah, let me let people do that. It is not for me. Let me have fun somewhere else.
Interesting. So what did you start doing for fun, or what were you doing for fun that you found that, when my nerdy thing, I'm not researching about different stuff, I can do this and feel I'm okay?
Well, I was still reading. I still loved reading. I was reading electronic books. I was reading, talking with my friends. I enjoyed talking with my friends. I enjoyed having outdoor activities.
That is like hiking, walking, cycling.
Yeah, I at that time I was not hiking yet. No, I just enjoy like still do, because I was still practicing martial arts. I was still doing taekwondo, and that was still fun for me. I tried learning an instrument.
Which ones?
Well, we all learn one instrument at school, but I tried playing around with piano. I've tried guitar. I've tried a couple of things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let me tell you this. I'm going to meet one, good engineer or a nerd who has no interest in music in one or the other. I'm yet to meet that person. And even if they have not started like experimenting with these things, they are thinking about it like, what can I do with music? Right now, you can create music using code, right?
Yes.
So it's like music and nerding and, people who love sciences is something that I think maybe, I don't know if there's a study out there that can actually show the correlations of both, but yeah.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. That's why Steve Jobs said, Apple is a conglomerate of artists who just happen to code. That's why everything they create is around entertainment. It's entertainment first and everything else after. But that's besides the point. So you're in high school, you complete your high school. Do you perform, or just, decide I want to move along?
Well, at that point, I wanted to study outside of the country. And
that is France, or which country did you have in mind?
Yes, I was supposed to go and study in France. But then I was selected in a university, and then it just didn't pan out after that.
Why France?
Because it was the obvious choice. In my school, it was just like that. You study, you finish high school, you go to France. If you can.
So out of 100 students who graduated in a single year, how many of them went to France?
I cannot say. I don't know. Because we had both like the French program and the Senegalese program. I was doing the Senegalese program. I know some of them went, some of them didn't, because obviously it's not paid for by the government. It's the parents
It's a private.
paying for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought there's a program like, you know what, you love you Senegalese, you know, you finish your school. If you get this grade, please come.
Yeah, I think it still exists for really exceptional students, and I was not one of those. I was still just, okay,
having good
fine.
time and understanding.
Yes. I like this, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing, let me just get the minimum grade required and move on.
Yeah.
That was just my mood.
So when you joined this university, you said it didn't pan out. What happened?
I didn't join actually the university because I did not get a visa. Funny enough.
To which university?
To France.
Oh, this was in France. I thought maybe these universities in Senegal.
No, they were in France. So I was accepted, but then I did not get the visa.
For
so
whatever
I was
reason.
like, okay, yeah. They don't give a reason. They refuse.
Now that we're talking about these visas, do you think visa is something necessary in future? Because I don't think so.
I think visa is a way to measure the value of how do you consider citizens from a specific country. I think that's what it means. The visa is saying this is the kind of value that we have, or this is what type of value we believe you can bring to us.
So it's not a matter of what value you think you can.
Yeah, I think it's
more or less
what the
someone
visa
determines.
Yeah, like
value.
do we need you? Do we need? Okay, if we need you, then maybe we're going to make it easy for you and us to communicate. You know, that's the way I see visa.
I mean, and that's why also, again, I feel like, okay, I can't control the continent. I can't say anything about our continent, but I feel like Africans, the 54 countries, for once, you know, we don't need these boundaries. We don't need these visas because there's so much, you know, growth that would come with that, which is much faster than we are right now. And we would unlock so many other opportunities by just saying, you know what, if I want to be in Cote d'Ivoire, I can just be there. There's no boundaries.
I agree. I agree. I think we should have a free, like what they have in the Schengen area, where people can actually move from one country.
Free trade zone?
Something like that. Person, machin, something. I don't know. But where actually, even if it's in smaller groups, okay, in this place, when you are from one of these countries, then you can move easily between, you know, the borders without having too much trouble, because that's also making it easy for trade. It's also making it easy for collaboration, cooperation, business,
and even business scale.
And even business. Yeah. This just makes sense. In Africa, we should not. It should not be so hard to travel in Africa.
Yeah, our president.
As an African.
I know presidents like listen about anything and everything that's happening, you know, in their countries. Please, this is one thing that actually we need to change everything. Now that we have young guys moving everything around and creating opportunities, maybe consider now, you know, doing away with these. I know it's not an easy process, it's not straightforward because there are stakeholders involved, but in one or the other, it's for, you know, the interest of the citizens and Africans.
True.
Yeah. So now these bounces, you don't have the visa. What happens?
Then. So I had also applied to get into med school in Senegal, in Dakar. And then that year, they changed the regulations.
Only citizens can join?
No, not only, but they were only allowing 2 Ivorians.
The whole country?
Yeah, and I did not have the best grades.
Is it just one med school in
it's one of the best in the whole Francophone West Africa.
What's the name of this university?
University Sheikh Anta Diop.
And that's where now you realize,
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not going there. Where am I going now?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I still have that computer science thing. You know, I kind of like computers. You know, let me see.
Yeah.
And I started looking at schools and all that. And I'm like, well, I actually don't want to stay in the country. Let me check. Let me check Cote d'Ivoire. Are there things there? And I start looking, and then I find an interesting school. I just write to them an email, and then I'm like, okay, your school looks interesting. I want to study there.
Wait a minute. You're doing all this on your own?
Yes. I'm receiving help from one of my cousins who's like giving me advice. Oh, you can check this one out. And I was checking on my own. But yeah.
So
my parents were like, pick what you want to study.
They're not involved.
No, they would give me advices, and I was like, okay, have you thought of this? Did you consider this? And then I'm like, okay, yeah, actually no, let me go there and then check again. So they never forced me. Okay, you absolutely have to study this. No.
And that's how you get to Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
And
by the way, in the meantime, I used to come for like vacations, holidays every 2 years.
Oh, okay. How long did you stay for these vacations?
It was usually 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Summer vacations.
Yeah. So I like that. So there is summer in Ivory Coast.
I mean, I'm saying summer so that people understand that it's the gap that you have between the end of the year and then when you're supposed to start school again next year. You have that, those couple of weeks.
All the weeks, okay.
Yes, I would go and then stay down here. But summer, I mean, when I mean summer, you only have two things. Is it raining or it's hot?
Because when you say summer, I think for me, what kicks in like 2-3 months.
It's 2-3 months.
Which is actually not Christmas time, and it's really hot.
It's usually between June and late August, maybe beginning of September, because the school will start like early September, mid-September, or end of September, but it will start in September.
Yeah. Is there that in Senegal?
Yeah.
Besides the universities and colleges, just the primary school, and is there summer break?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, for us actually, we just do 1 month, 2 weeks. Like now after Corona, people go home for 3 days. Children are, I think this is the first time they will go for a long break, whereby it will be like, I think, a month and a half, which is amazing because they have been back to back in the last 2 years. So therefore, it's good to know that like on this other side of the continent, there is summer break. There is all that. Break. Now, you go back now to Ivory Coast. Do you find, it hard to adopt the education system, to catch up with, the culture and everything, or Senegal culture and Ivory Coast culture is almost similar?
Well, they are a bit different, and obviously I can feel the difference because then I'm in university with students who I have not shared the same experiences with. I have no idea what kind of games they played as kids. And I speak differently. My vocabulary is different from theirs.
Okay.
Because, there's what you learn at school and then there's,
how you're brought up. And
the way people, the youth speaks. I would not speak like them.
So is there like a dialect or Sheng, not Sheng?
Yes, we do have.
Here there is Sheng, but and also in Nigeria there is Pingin.
Yes.
Is there like that?
Yes, I think everywhere you have those words
where youth can communicate without adult interfering with
there's always that. There's always that. So it was we call it nushi.
You want to say a few things that what have you just said?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, I don't know what you just said, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, so you start now even adopting that, learning that.
Yes, I had to learn very quickly. But thankfully, I was not bad with languages, so I would get it very quickly. I did not have a very thick Senegalese accent because I was... growing up, I used to be able to switch between the Senegalese accent and the Ivorian accent. So it was... In terms of accent, it was not the hardest. But in terms of vocabulary, I had to adapt. I was like, okay, let me just see what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And I would go out with my classmates. I would go the place where they would eat. I would eat there, even if it didn't really match my taste. I really just wanted to know. Okay, this is how they eat here. This is the places that they go. I wanted to adapt, so I was able to switch and.
So that even the mode operandi would be, like a local, and you wouldn't feel like, I'm a Senegalese just trying to adopt. Whereas
I'm an Ivorian.
Yeah, I feel you. So the pressure was too much.
Not that much, but it's easier when you can blend in sometimes. Not always, but sometimes it's better.
Yeah. So you do computer science?
Yes, software engineering and networks.
Okay.
Those
are three things, right?
Come again?
What was the course? Was it software engineering, networks, or
Both
something?
software engineering and networks. So we were
Okay.
also doing those 3G, 4G, IP, something, everything, all of it. Networks, local networks, wide area networks, all of those things. IP addresses, doing the math, building local networks. We would do all that.
And this is where now you are 6 ladies.
Yes. Yes.
Or should I use the acronym that you guys were given? Anyways,
Yeah, but
so
boys with hair.
did that did that motivate you, or
Well, yes, yes.
Yeah, I want to prove a point around here.
Yes, because I was like, I get motivated when people tell me that I cannot
You're
do
not
it
enough.
because I'm a woman. No,
Yeah,
that you can't do it
Yeah.
because you're a woman.
Yeah,
I get very
That's
excited.
the best motivation.
Yeah, I get excited.
Yeah.
Because I will show you. I will show you. I will be better than all of you. I will work on it. I will work hard.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
I mean,
If I'm
so-
not in front of all of you, men who are saying that I cannot do it,
Yeah.
no.
So what you're saying to any lady out there, because this happens a lot consciously or subconsciously, is that, that should be a motivation, not a demotivation, or just to look, and say, maybe I can't. And also put yourself out there, because from what I'm hearing from you is that you not just take that as challenge, but also you ask yourself, what am I not doing right? Is it because I'm a human? What do I need to know? And you started becoming inquisitive, even when you're in primary school. Actually, this was happening without maybe your knowledge or something, but you started this inquisitive, kind of culture or habits at early stage. So at this level, how are you performing? Are you still?
Very good.
Yeah?
I'm the best.
You're like,
I'm
you're
the
kicking
best.
asses.
Yes, because now it's something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And people are telling me that I cannot do it. But then we had our director of studies, who was a woman, with very long dreadlocks, smart, everything. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I had a model,
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Nice.
hey, it is possible.
Yeah.
For me, it was not an option. Like being good was not an option anymore. I had to be great.
Did you reach out to her once in a while to ask her what was the secret?
No. She was just like, I know that you're smart.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing, because she could see I still have a really strong character.
So she also trusted you to really
Yes.
deliver.
Yes,
I see. So
and I think it helped
yeah.
being trusted.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can do it.
Yeah.
If someone is
Go
actually
ahead.
not doubting you, you feel like, hey, I actually can do it.
Yeah.
That person, very smart, is believing in me.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that, and actually, I think that's very important, because even when even that what your parent did, like, you want to go out, we'll take you out. What time what time am I supposed to pick you? And then at that point, you felt like, I'm trusted. I need to make the right decision, and also it's for me, not for them, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's something also, our listeners can pick from that. So how many years do you spend in these computer networks and software engineering?
I would say 5, 6, 7 years, because I started being very active. People wanted to include me into the computer sciences club, English speaking club, and I think that's when I actually started doing more about getting more into leadership.
Okay.
People around me will pick me out and like, okay, we want you to lead us, because I would get invested without even thinking about, I want to lead it. No, or there's something happening. Okay, what can we do? What is the problem? How do you make it happen? So second year, I became the president of the computer science club. Very interesting, very challenging.
What does that mean, being a president?
It means a lot of things. It means that now you actually have people who are trusting you to deliver. They put their trust in you, so you actually have.
And
to
what does
be
this
trained.
delivery look like, if I may ask?
Well,
Yeah.
at the computer science club, basically my goal was to make sure that students had access to the professional world, that they were actually learning the tools that they will need to get into the market,
Yeah.
and that they were good. If they were having issues in classes, they would just come, hey, we're having issues. If it was very common, then we organize activities where some of the good ones will help some of the weaker ones, and then we'll have discussions around that. We'll bring in professionals in cybersecurity or in software engineering, come and talk to them.
Yeah.
We will go to hackathons, organize it, making sure that they are actually getting a taste of software engineering in real life,
Yeah.
in spite of just what we are learning at school, because sometimes there's a gap between the technologies that you learn in school and those that are actually being in use on the market.
Yes,
You know?
a huge gap, and I like that you notice this at that level. So does this actually even also like motivate you to learn more before even you graduate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So which was your first language to learn in school?
In school or like outside of school?
In school.
In school, I think it was C.
C. Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you do like C, Java, kind of stuff?
Yes, it was C. I also did Pascal.
Oh, Pascal.
I did C.
You
I
did
did Pascal. Yes, I did Visual Basic
Okay.
6.0.
Yeah.
I did C#, C++. Yeah,
And out of school?
I did. Obviously, web-based thing is PHP, JavaScript. I did a little bit of JavaScript, but not much. Python,
Yeah.
which I'm still using now.
Yeah.
I'm transitioning to other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the languages that I would use.
Yeah.
Obviously, managing databases, you also had those database management systems as well,
Yeah. And this is not your first time to be recognized as a leader, right? I understand. Is this the same time that you're involved with Mandela Foundation?
The Mandela Washington Fellowship? No, that's later on.
Okay. After school altogether?
In during.
Oh, okay.
And that is why actually I didn't finish my master quickly because I went for the program.
You did your masters
Yes.
after 6 years of undergrad?
Undergrad was 3 years, but the way the school was organized, it took longer than that.
Okay.
So I think I spent 4 years doing undergrads. That's where I get involved in things, and then I meet people. I participate to Startup Weekend. I go to hackathons and actually learn about the tech ecosystem. I hear about GDGs. I hear about women tech makers and all of that.
Amazing stuff. And you have been involved with that in the whole country to an extent that you have influenced a whole movement in Ivory Coast.
Well,
yeah. Mariam, we know these things. Yeah, and it's an amazing thing because at the end of the day, it goes even beyond what you could do as a person to an extent that even other ladies, other developers, other engineers felt like, this is doable, this is possible, right? And do you think developer communities, has this influence of changing the dynamics of how people learn, how people get engaged? And if it does, what are some of the things that you can share that made things work for you as a community leader?
Well, first, developers, what happens is when we have these communities, it's usually, we started as when we were still students, so we are still very eager. We're still frustrated. We have that strings, that energy. We want to make things happen. So when you have all of that fire, all of that energy, all of that positive attitude that we want to make things happen, and then developers meet and they start creating things. They start, creating bonds, and those are the people who, when they get into companies or when they have startups, they actually have a change because they are the one who are deciding the technologies the company uses at some point. Because they then grow, they then move into their careers, and they have all of that experience, all of that background that they use in order to influence decision making.
So that's very important even for the new technologies. So you as a leader, one of the things that actually made you involve developers at different levels over time, what is that one thing?
What made me want to?
No. Let me give you a case in point. So you organized events, right? You organize hackathons. And with the kind of events that you're organizing, people don't pay, right?
No, they
so
don't.
What do you think made them keep coming?
Let me start with me. What made me go to hackathons?
Superstar.
No. It's what made me go to hackathons. And I think it's also what motivated others is to build new things. The fact that they just want to try. Oh, is it that thing that I don't know yet? Being curious. I like shaping Africa. We want to shape Africa. African developers want to shape Africa. But they also know that they need the experience. Okay, so where do I get that experience? In those hackathons, you have experienced people. You have those who are starting out, and you have those who are just trying to find a way around. And then when you bring those people with different levels of experience and knowledge, then that's what happens. Like, oh, okay, this is what. Let me tell you something very funny. I was so knowledgeable during my first hackathon. People were like, okay, you lead. People older than me who had a lot of experiences. I was not even working for a company. I knew nothing. And then that's when you realize you actually have to be able to be humble. You have to listen. Because you have the person who is in charge is not always the most knowledgeable person. It's not always the one with the most experience and knowledge. So you have to listen. Okay, what are these people telling me? Okay, this is what it means. You know? How do we make something happen with that? How do we manage relationships between younger people and older people, and how does that work? Because younger people need what the older generation has. Older generations also don't have the youth and the energy and the new things that the young ones are bringing. You know, and you have to find a way around that.
So also now it becomes like a full iteration whereby you are curious about, like, you are meeting new people, you are learning new knowledge. And then these people also, they find that they're also growing, because also they're understanding the young guys. The young guys, can get to meet new people, older people with experience. And it's a full circle, like how it works. Amazing stuff. So you finish your undergrad, right?
Yes.
And graduate. So what made you go back for masters?
It was always in my plan.
Okay. So you'll do up to masters, PhD, and all this?
Yes. For me, not always PhD, but having the master's was just, for me, it's just obvious. You do your lines, you undergrad, you do masters. That's it. Maybe multiple masters, but you do at least one master. That was always obvious for me.
And still in computing?
No, other masters in other things, or maybe more specialized masters.
Oh, I see. So, okay. Yeah, because like some of my colleagues who graduated with them, like, they go for masters, things to do with MBA and all that. And I'm like, okay, that I understand. You want to know how management works, how business works, how can you scale business. But if you go and do maybe, say, computer science, you can only code so much, right? But I understand if someone maybe wants to focus with AI or information systems, it's also understandable. But for me, if your key focus is to build solutions, there are a couple of routes that actually you can take. One, you can keep building these solutions and teaching yourself how to build them, which actually is longer, but also it's really worth it over time because you are learning as you're doing it, which also I think most of the undergrads understand over time, either the hard way or the easy way, such that the easy way, they join the community, they understand these, how to learn things faster and implement them. Or the hard way, where they fail the exam or their project and they're like, why is Mariam building a good project than me? And then they realize Mariam belongs to different communities and he has access of special knowledge that is out there in the industry and I don't. But those are just scenarios. So, and I'm not discouraging anyone to do masters. Please, by all means, even PhD if you want, because also we need research, you need all these other, aspect of growth and knowledge accumulation. So once you graduated, you did your master's. Did you finish it? You said you didn't.
Yes, I've kind of finished it, but okay. I did not submit my paper yet.
Why not? The thesis?
Well, I've been volunteering a lot and then work because I'm also a global shaper now since 2019. And then I've been doing traveling a little bit and that took a little bit of time. But yeah, I want to finish it.
So where have you been volunteering?
So, I mean, being a GDG co-lead is volunteering. Being a woman tech maker ambassador is volunteering. Being a global shaper is also volunteering. Can
you please tell us what these things mean? Because like GDG, I understand it's good developer group, but what is that for you every day? Women tech makers, and all these other, opportunities that you create.
So GDG first?
Yeah, please.
So for me, GDG is bringing the community together. Trying out using those tools that Google is putting out for the developers. Testing it out, seeing what works for us, what doesn't work, what we can improve, giving feedback. Because they also give access sometimes to free tools that developers can use and test. Because, I mean, obviously, most of the time, developers are broke. Let us try. Yeah, guys, let us test, and they have tools, to build that experience. So it's that. It's also, and again, sharing experiences with those who've been there for a while. When I take Women Techmakers Ambassador, as I told you, there were not many women in my classes throughout my undergrad and even during my master's degree. Not many women, and there's a lot of stigma, a lot of I want to say trauma. There's a lot of in that field, There's a lot of there's a lot of women should not. There's a lot of gatekeeping. There are many things.
A minute.
Yes.
What do you mean there's a lot of gatekeeping?
There's gatekeeping.
Like there are women who don't want other women to like thrive?
Yes, and there are also men who sometimes, because of sometimes people's traditions and culture, they feel like, oh, women should not be doing this.
Yeah. Do they consider it like a zero-sum game? If there are more women, then means less jobs for us or less opportunities for us?
No, I think it's more about mainly ego. Like that woman cannot be on top of me. Because if you have the potential and the knowledge and experience, it makes sense that, you're probably leading a team with men in it. But yeah, you will find men who will just be, they'll be like, no, that's a woman.
Yeah.
No.
So the discussion starts from, you are a woman.
Yes. You are a woman is a problem. Your woman is a problem. Like,
but is it what?
I once, one of my classmates wrote to me on Messenger, and he was like, you're so good at what you're doing for a woman.
Oh, okay.
I was like, bro, don't do that.
Chill.
Because even in classroom, I am better than you. You are in the back, way at the back, in all of the programming classes. No.
Yeah.
Where do you even get that fierceness? Why are you proud? Do better.
That's what you said?
I told him, for a woman, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, for women and everything. I'm like, no, this is not a compliment. This is an insult. If you want to say I'm good, say I'm good. That's it.
Yeah.
Because even between my peers, men and women, I'm good. And why should I be good for a woman? Do you see that? I see
it. I see. I read you.
When a man is good, they're not saying you're good for a man.
For sure.
For men, you're good. No, they're not saying that. They're saying you're good.
You're good, yeah.
Be good. You feel good, you're good.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're not.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just brain.
Yeah. And the efforts and the curiosity and putting your best foot forward. So
yeah,
I mean that makes a lot of sense. So what other experiences like women in tech? What does that entail? Like, do only women come for these events?
No, those events are open to both men and women. Actually, we encourage men to come so that they can understand the bias and sometimes the discrimination that is happening, and so that they can help building those inclusive communities. Because putting men on the side of the conversation does not make sense. They're included in those conversations. They need to know what is happening, because when you're outside of something, sometimes you might have issues understanding the scale or the scope of it. But you need to be included in the discussions.
Yeah.
It could be talks with women who are already in the field, who are sharing the experiences. Okay, so this is what I went through, and this is where I am. These are the tactics, the strategies that you can use, to move on with your career in that field despite all the struggle, basically giving hope, giving proper tools, and saying that this is possible. This is about if this is what you want, it is possible.
Yeah. So it's more like finding a place where you can say it's doable, you can do it, someone has done it, and this is the way to do it.
There is a way to do it.
So do you guys do code, designs,
Women
UI,
tech
UX?
makers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's women tech makers.
Okay.
But the tech is not only.
No, I've never seen women in tech that
don't code.
They just meet and have discussions, but that actually didn't end well. So that's why if anyone actually is the intention is to empower or just give the platform to women. Number one, if you want them to be good in engineering, they have to do it. Whichever engineering line they want to follow. It's not a matter of just motivating people and chest thumping and showcasing of people already were in. No, you have to do it. It boils down to that.
mean, I understand because when you are told repeatedly that this is not and you cannot do it, it is important to know that some people have already done it. That you're not crazy. You can do it. That is very important.
And do you think
representation matters? People don't know that, but if you see girls not thinking about science jobs, it's because in their minds, most of the time, this is not even an option.
So already they have been put in a place.
They have been put in a place. Your job is either to get married or you get those, what people would call the job that are actually not easy jobs. But they think it fits better the mind of a girl, you know.
Not that being married is a bad thing.
No. I'm not even talking about marriage.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I'm not denigrating anyone, but they will tell you that being a hairdresser is more for a woman, for example. Cooking is more for a woman. They will say, okay, go and make clothes. It's more for women.
Yeah.
So I'm talking. Those are more manual.
Yeah.
Of course, it needs creativity. Those are arts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to science and maths, they will tell you that this is not made for the brain of the woman, which is crazy because the first developers were women. But yeah. That's because even during those events, to add on to what you're saying, they are technical sessions. Women don't just come and talk. Oh yes, that's what I'm doing. Girls, you can do it. No, there are actually technical sessions.
Yeah, that's beautiful because at the end of the day, that's what I think should happen. Because even when because I run a couple of communities, and one of the things I don't say, this is for men or for women, but number one thing is that I try to make whenever the time is available. As long as, presenting different principles, practices, and, ideologies, there has to be practicality in most of them so that you don't just, feel good and think that, you know what, I learned something, whereas you didn't do it. Because I believe in learning by doing.
Yeah, I mean...
Especially for sciences. Other things you can just learn and have that information and use it in different places. But if you don't do tech...
But you do have GD. Women in the GDGs.
Yeah.
You do have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are women in GDGs.
Yes.
But on top of that, women need the space.
Yeah. Why?
We need the space because we are a minority in the field. And we are not receiving sometimes, now it's not really the case because a lot of companies and organizations are realizing that we actually need to make it more equal for both men and women. Yeah, I am not part of those who think that if there's a job opportunity, we should just give it to women to have and balance is okay, equal men, equal women. No, for me, if you're actually hiring that woman, it means that she actually has the skills. Yes. She's not there just to reach a quota. You have to reach a quota of women. No. She actually has to be there because she has the skills. Yeah. And
I think that's the right mindset. And I'll tell you why. And that's something else I wanted to tell you. Like you say, women need their space. They're the minority. I was almost saying that, there are other places that women actually are like 90%. Hands down, right? But, we will not find men saying, you know what, we need to equalize. So it's all a matter of like saying...
Give an example.
Hospitality, right?
What is hospitality?
That is like hotel, catering and all that.
Really? 90% are women?
Yeah.
That was not the way for me. I see men.
You see men?
Yeah.
But there are places where they are 90%. Yeah, and you have like men who are doing like mundane tasks, like maybe a head chef or something.
But then the question is, when those men try to get there, nobody's stopping them. But when women try to get into tech, people are stopping them in some.
That is wrong, and I agree with you. If someone, for instance, want to be, say, a pilot, right, and someone just disqualifies you because you're just a woman, that's purely wrong. Actually, I would say even it's criminal.
But it's the reality.
But women, if you're good,
even the data is still proving that even women who are doing the same job as a man with the same experience are still being paid. And that is why you need all those things. Let me give you an example. Women, even when, I mean, I'm generalizing here, when they are raised, they are being told, we let boys play and fail and crash and hurt themselves. But we tell girls, no, don't do that. You're going to harm yourself. True or false? That's what happens.
But that's from point of love. It's not necessary.
Where it's coming from, I'm not going to discuss on people's intentions. But what I do know is that they are taught to be more reserved.
Yeah.
When men are encouraged to test, to go and fail, and when you hurt yourself, they're like, yes, you're a boy, don't cry. And also, by the way, that's putting another kind of pressure on men. But then, when you reach that level, men then dare more because that's how they are raised. Because that's how they are raised. But also, women will dare more. I have a point that I want to show you quickly. Okay. Women will dare more. So that even when it comes, so when I'm saying women are being paid more, paid less, it's for multiple reasons. Men, and that is data, we have the data that proves that men are more likely to negotiate the salary than women. When there's a job opportunity, a man, if he feels it fits in 20-30% of the criteria, maybe 40, like, hey, maybe go, bam. A woman, unless she's like 100% sure that I match the description, she's not applying.
Yeah, there's that,
and that's data. I'm telling you data. It's not just like my environment, because when we have our own environment, we could be biased. But this is data, So there are multiple reasons due to multiple factors, where you grew up, everything, your parents, the way you were raised, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not every girl had the chance to have parents like me who like, go. Martial arts, go. So many parents don't accept that their girls are going to do martial arts. That's such a manly thing, raising your legs, And, so we need to be able to open that space so that they know, okay, you can actually negotiate your salary. Do you know that? You can. This is how you do it. You can actually try more. There was a study that was made, and I'm probably not going to relay the fact exactly, but it was. So you put girls in a room and boys in a room, and basically students, and they will be playing a game, kind of like a war game. Okay. So when the students were looking, the girls were playing, nicely and everything. The boys were very aggressive. And then when the students are out, the girls become very aggressive, even better. Yes. Do you know that? Do you know why? Because statistically, when women are more assertive, they are seen to be too severe or too aggressive. But when a man does the same, he's seen to be, actually, a leader, he's displaying some really interesting skills. And women get that very quickly. Even if you cannot put the point on it, they know. They know. So they were not aware that this was a test, but that is exactly what happened. Women know. If you are in a professional environment, especially for women in leadership positions, they know. If you're wearing pants and you're very straight, people are more likely to categorize that woman as being too severe. She's extra. She's really mean. When a man acting the same way, no, he has strong leaderships.
Wearing the same pants.
It's the pants are just here to but to let you know that she's basically doing her own thing.
Men always wear pants.
Having her own character, doing the same. She would literally. It's like. There was even a study that was made again where they would give a scenario. In one scenario, it's a man. They will let you know that it's a man that is doing the thing. Yeah. And then they will let people appreciate. And in the other scenario, they'll let you know that it's a woman. The reactions are not the same. But it is exactly the same story. They take two groups. One group will give you one story, but it's a man. The other group will give you the same story, but it's a woman. Obvious. Yeah. In one, that lead is very aggressive. It's too extra, very emotional, and all that. But in the other, very, very good.
Let me ask you, Mariam. All factors held constant the way they are right now. Do you think men are are required to be more responsible. There's so much expected of them that they feel this pressure of like, you know what, I would prefer maybe to get that job so because I need to pay the bills. Maybe I need to take care of, my wife. I need to take care of maybe even my siblings and all that. And I'm not saying that women don't do all that, but when it gets to like where, there's a relationship, which I think you're saying that's not basically the line for all women, which is okay for whoever chooses that. But do you think even over time, there's always even the cultures whereby, a man has to do A, B, C, D as a man, and for a woman, she needs to be taken care of?
I do not understand the question.
So let me rephrase it. For a woman who is mature enough and needs to like take care of all these, bills and whatever, food, housing, medical, everything, it is automatically an expectation of a man to be able to do all that. It goes without saying. Even right now, there are women who work, even they get paid better and all that.
I get your point.
But still, it's, if a man depends on a woman, there's even loss of, I've had loss of respect. And I'm not talking about other countries. Maybe other countries, the culture is different, maybe they are aware, they have practiced this over 200 years and everything is okay for them. And, but here in Africa, where we are, where we plan to change, where I think all these dynamics work, don't you feel that actually even puts more pressure to an African man to think like, you know what, I need to be competitive. I need to be out there, not only even to other women, but also for myself, so that in case I settle down, I have a woman, I have children, I am a man. I am a man of the house. I'm able to take care of all these things. And I'm not doing this so that other women don't get this opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I get your point. So I'm not a man, so I might not have that insight that a man would have. But I do know that sometimes also in certain aspects, society puts pressure on men. Men are told cannot cry. Men are told, oh, you have to carry financially the family. Men are told this, men are told that, and it also puts some emotional weight, and actually it puts pressure on them, But it's also not everywhere there. I'm not going to go and compare women's struggles and men's struggle because I don't believe invalidating someone's struggle is the way forward.
No, I'm not invalidating anyone's struggle.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, and by the way, that's what you use. Like, when a man is put here and a woman is put here, there's this and that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just comparative.
Yeah.
And just to see, because at the end of the day, we might say, even women in STEM are not getting these opportunities just because they are women. There are the factors that actually are underlying that have been over and over. It's like a culture that if you don't have this kind of a job, for instance, or if you don't perform well like this, or if you're not resilience when it comes to externalities, like you are in violence, you need to protect there are several other factors, but this is not the place to list them.
I think I get it. So for me, that is my point of view. Every couple and every family has the right to choose and define what works for them. In an ideal world, the man is there, or the companions are there. They're choosing depending on their own strengths and skills.
Yeah.
What their responsibilities are in that tandem.
Yeah.
I do this, you do that. I actually enjoy doing this, you enjoy doing that. We balance it that way. But the thing that we both don't like, we try to find a way to manage it. That's the way I see things. They should not be, for me, a standard norm that every couple have to apply. If you're not doing it, then you're bad.
Yeah.
It is fine. It is fine for men to be open, to discuss, to communicate those things, to have their own spaces, to change that norm. But it also has to come from them, It's like you cannot help someone who's not trying to be helped. I don't know if you get my point.
I see what you're doing here, Mariam. When it gets to men and why they're doing stuff, you're like,
No, I don't have the data. So it is hard for me to speak about it.
yeah,
I do
yeah,
not
yeah.
like talking about a special subject that I don't know, but
yeah.
I do see
Yeah.
the struggle that some men are facing. I'm not going to lie about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a lot of pressure. There are good men out there who have a lot of pressure that they should not be having. Sometimes people also don't have the choice. But the same way you see men carrying their families, I've seen women carrying their families. You know that I'm not going to talk about other countries, but in my country, like the family entity, like women are the one paying for the children's schools. In reality, because what happens at the end of the day is that we find a lot of single women at some point, and women are the one who will invest like 100% of their income on their family. For example,
And that would not be the case if there was polygamous as it used to be.
Well, I'm not equipped to discuss the subject.
I mean, the thing that I feel, and this is my personal opinion, it doesn't have to be your opinion or anything, is that, African used to be like, you can marry more than one wife, just manage your family, wherever, and make sure that, you're responsible to all these decisions that you make. But, there are all these other, and it's been happening for the last 100 years, if you think about it, whereby you're told, marrying more than one wife is wrong, religious-wise. Even there are churches, if you're Catholic, if you marry more than one wife, they do not recognize you as a Christian anymore.
I feel like you're saying one thing and the opposite. Because earlier you were saying that men are receiving a lot of pressure because they're supposed to carry their family financially.
Yes.
But now you're saying that back in the time, men used to have 1, 2, 3, so many wives.
Even 10, yeah.
Does that even help them? Like, in terms of finance? To be honest, I don't know about the subject. I'm not going to say the things that I don't know.
For sure. I'm really
just asking to understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Because between what you said and what you're saying now.
And I totally understand you. And by the way, before it was not about money. So, and these people who actually would marry more than one wife, it was not because they wanted to bring more trouble to them and they could not afford. This is someone who maybe has, I don't know how many head of cattle, or they have a big farm or whatever. So they're able to afford that. So rather than just being, selfish and saying, you know what, let me have all this for myself and all this, they did that. And I'm not saying it's the right decision or the wrong decision, but that also meant that if, for instance, and the reason I feel like maybe that we have single ladies, we have all this and that, or mothers who don't have husbands and they have to take care of everything, is because there's maybe a man somewhere who could not take two women as their wife and recognize each other and love them, and because it's your responsibility, you made that child, right? And also maybe they don't want to take care of the kid for whatever reason, right? So it's not only the woman's fault or the man's fault. There are so many other factors that underlie there that actually needs to be addressed openly by saying, look, statistically, and this data, there are more women than men, right?
Actually, that data is not true. You actually have more men than women
in the world. You sure about that? Okay.
So it is true. It is true. It is true. You have more men than women, and like I don't think the issue of single mothers is about men not being able to take one wife for 100 wives. I think there are a lot of issues that are behind that. It is also sometimes a choice from women. It is also sometimes in terms of a situation. But we do find situations in which you could have a single mother, but the father is implicated in his children's life, in his child's life. But that is actually not the case. So you would find a lot of situations where the man is not even there. And then appears somewhere when the kid is 16, 15, 17, 18, So there's like not taking responsibility sometimes. Now, the reasons, I don't know. People have a lot of challenges. People are facing a lot of different experiences, You cannot just go and give an explanation for one and then, dismiss this and they say these ones are the worst. Oh, no, you cannot do that because every situation is different. But,
No, I mean,
I don't
get
think
you.
it's a matter of whether the man could not marry multiple wives or what.
Yeah. No, I said this is my own opinion because I feel like, and of course you're right. I just checked out. There are like more men, but just a small percentage more than women. So that's
So
out of the way
that
I
is
was
not
wrong.
the
Yeah.
excuse anymore for polygamy.
I mean, if they are like in Kenya, I think we used to say this. I don't know now how true this is. Like they are like 3 women for 1 man in Kenya, right?
I'm wondering
I
where
need
they
to check
got that
those.
data.
I,
Data is important.
I need to check that again to affirm if that's really true, because this might have changed or it's not true altogether. And I think this kind of misinformation actually makes
is.
people make wrong decisions, right?
It is.
Whereas, so in Kenya, there are 27.66 million male, and then there is 27.32 million females. Yeah, which is slightly more.
Slightly more.
So, so that besides the point. So there is also gender-based violence. There is marriage that break up. There is people die, all right?
Yes.
So there are so many other underlying factors.
Yes.
And I think it's a good discussion that to have, because as much as you want, people to build solutions, people to use solutions, there are a couple of things that actually can inform that, paradigm shift of like, as much as you want, equal opportunity for everyone. How can we do this in a good way, in a responsible way, so that it doesn't become a zero-sum game whereby, certain gender over time, they feel like, you know what, these guys started a movement, now we are losing. Or it should not be a competition. It should be like we can get there, we can learn from other cultures, we can learn from people who already have done it to some extent and see, was it a perfect example? Let us adopt it. Were there mistakes made along the way? How can we do it better? And then that will make a world a better place, will make Africa a better place. But now that's besides the point, and I think you have addressed it well. And I think we'll keep trying to evaluate some of these issues, because I feel like if we don't do that, the poverty index will not go down, because at the end of the day, there are women who cannot actually take care of everything, given the circumstances that maybe they didn't finish their education, or there are other circumstances like they need to educate their children instead of them progressing career-wise, and all those underlying factors. Now, how far has Ivory Coast's tech ecosystem, or how does it look like at the moment? And what needs to be done? Like right now, I know you in the center of it. Like, what some of the things that needs to be done?
Some of the things that needs to be done.
Yeah, to take it to where it's supposed to be.
I think we need to be able to have those spaces where the youth can come and innovate.
You mean innovation hubs?
Yes.
There are no innovation hubs in Ivory Coast?
Well, I see some entities trying to create things, but at least the door is opening, but there's still a lot to get there. It's still a bit selective. You have to be in a certain environment to have access to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we're talking about equal opportunities, it's equal opportunities for women, but for also for people who are coming from rural areas, for people who are living inside of the country, in the capital city.
It's more in the city.
Yeah. So at least the door is open, but we need that place where the youth can come and safely try and test and fail, because that's the only way to learn. That's the only way to learn. It's the best moment to learn.
Let me ask this now that you mentioned that. Do you think maybe this engineering universities that you have in Ivory, and how many of them, could they maybe lead the way and say, look, we have maybe empty classes once in a while. Can people use those for experiment, or maybe they can have a space around that, because at the end of the day, there are buildings there, that they can say one of these could be an innovation space that is open for, graduates, undergrad, or even people who have innovation around?
I know that some of them are open to that. Some of them are open to that when we come in and say, hey, we want to try these things out. We want to work with the students. Some of them are open about it.
Yeah.
But now, when you're talking about innovation labs, you're also talking about resources.
Yeah.
You don't just need an empty classroom. Of course, you can use it, but then how do you, how do you do technology happen? You don't have a laptop. You don't have internet.
Yes.
How do you make that happen? Then,
Those are some of the discussions that, like government should say, you know what, maybe we need to set aside some funds for that.
In fact.
Maybe we need an open Wi-Fi. If you're in this place, you can get the open Wi-Fi.
True.
Yeah. So do you think policy needs some?
Yes. We definitely need to work on that aspect, and it's a bit one of the reasons why I've joined the Global Shapers, because then we are also trying to make those policy become a reality. Where we have the gaps, we identify those gaps. What can we do so that this is included? What can we do so that there is no gap in the policy? We are actually including these things. We are taking them into account. Is the law thinking about technology? Is the law thinking about innovation? Are we putting regulations in place so that there's GDPR? Are we putting regulations in place so that things have a proper space to explode? Are we making it possible for startups to happen?
Is the investment coming
Are the policies actually open enough or working for the startup ecosystem? And then all those things then just come in.
Yeah. So and what because you see this now goes to a different level of conversation, which actually an individual who is building solutions maybe we'll wait for some time for them to be impacted, right? What do they need to do at that level? So by the time maybe all these things are changing, they are ready for what is going to happen. What does that look like? Say I'm a developer, right? And maybe I can't, build stuff because, at the end of the day, I'm like, after all, what will happen? Maybe I'll be frustrated. Maybe there is no investment. Maybe there are no customers. People don't have resources. But now there's this global shapers that is happening. And, you're trying to influence this. So at that point, once you're able to do that, because it will happen in one way or the other over time. So what do they need to be doing right now? By the time this happens, they can move to that level.
Well, they should keep doing what they're doing. Because change does not happen in a day.
Yeah.
Change is multiple people doing a different work at different levels at the same time toward the same goal. So while we're working on policies, while we are advocating, the youth is still in the back doing their thing, still learning, still trying to have their spaces, still being involved in those communities, still having those discussions. That has to happen.
So they need to sharpen their knife. So for the time the meat gets ready, they're able to be able to prepare the table and feast, right?
Exactly.
And what we mean by in a nutshell is that get your skills ready.
Exactly.
Get your best practices ready. So that when this opens up, because I've seen this actually happen in Kenya over time, whereby people work for remote companies. Actually, COVID-19 helped so much in that to leapfrog. People are opening companies and hiring the local talent, especially engineering. That was not there for some time. So getting their skills ready is good. So that's beautiful, Mariam, and thank you so much. What is your parting shot? What do you want to tell developers in Cote d'Ivoire, or the communities there, or the customer, whoever you want to say something? This is the time.
So what I want to say is do your part. Work hard.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Yeah.
Because when you have the skills, when you have the knowledge, when you know what you can bring to the table and the change that can happen, people will open the doors for you, or you will break those doors because you have it.
Absolutely.
When people need you, they need your experience, they will take you. But for that, you need to do your own part. You need to work hard, study, go get the knowledge. Don't be afraid to approach those who've been through that already. They are there. Most of them are very open to help. Just send a message, send an email, be professional. Hi, I'm doing this. I need some guidance. I would like to know if this and that. You would be surprised that people are very, very, very happy to help you.
Yeah.
Do your part.
Amazing
Work hard.
Stuff. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much, Mariam Nourya Koné. So, as we conclude this, Mariam is the country manager for Africa Stalking, the co-host of this show, and I'm Michael Kimadi, also from Africa Stalking and Impact Masters. And it's a beautiful, beautiful conversation that we have had here. And this is just the beginning, because we want to showcase more and more what is happening across Africa, being done by different Impact Masters at different levels, because it takes a village. So until next time, thank you so much.